everyone, and welcome back to Flights of Fandom. This is episode 3 of Delta Protocol, our Pacific Rim flight. I am Liza. I'm going to be your game master for this flight and for this evening. We are running a variation of Beamswords and Bazookas, a wonderful game by Sweaterpunk Studios, and by Justin, specifically. Yeah, I am so excited to be here with all of you and with these wonderful players. Wonderful players, would you like to introduce yourselves really quickly, starting with Hopper?
That's me. What's up, everybody? I'm Hopper. I use they, them pronouns, and I can be found in, on, and around the interwebs, mostly here. But also, if you really hate yourself and you want more of me, you can find me at Fail Deadly. That is with a 3 instead of an E, because I am a bad person. And tonight I will be playing Ransom Holt, the cranky old man.
Excellent. Calais.
Hello, I am Calais. I use she, her, and I can be found around the internet as Calais Reed most of the time, or Anglophile Slytherin occasionally. I will be playing Rachel Altshuler, our our tech Barbie.
I love it.
She could be into techno too. We don't know that much about it.
Yeah, that's true. we don't know what she's got on the iPod there. All right, Justin.
Yeah, my name's Justin Kaler. Happy to be playing in this game. I do game design in Queens, New York. Play with Liza often, and I'm happy to be playing with and meeting these lovely people. Wrote Beamswords and Bazookas a few years ago, and am really excited to see all of the neat Pacific Rim modifications Liza has done to it. And yeah, happy to be here.
And who are you playing?
Oh, I am playing Lee Cason, a Southern gentleman racked with guilt and trying to atone for past mistakes.
Excellent. And last but most certainly not least, Puja.
Hello, everybody. I am Puja, and I, tonight, am playing Shailee Thakkar, a member of the PPDC and essentially benched member of the PPDC who suddenly has found herself possibly in a position to be in a Jaeger again. So both of our pronouns are she, her. And so it's going to be very interesting and very traumatic for a certain grumpy old man. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yes, so our Rangers have received a secret mission from a data analyst at the PPDC off the books to go check out an abandoned Jaeger facility in a remote part of Russia, directly across the Bering Sea from Alaska. They flew a plane over there, faked a plane crash, infiltrated the facility, and discovered not one, but 2 experimental Jaegers that seem to be complete. As far as they can tell. They poked around the facility a little more, discovered that an industrial accident had caused some crystals containing kaiju blue to fall into the lava that they were using to manufacture the Jaegers, and that is why the facility had been abandoned. You also did some snooping and some science and found some recordings and research around a program called the Delta Protocol. And as we left in our last episode, Lee had just had discovered a corpse and found some recordings that seemed to indicate that that man was a pilot who was part of the program, and that it perhaps had some unusual effects. But that is not where we begin. We begin on an icy and windswept plain. Large metal doors that you could drive several semi-trucks through are firmly closed. Only a small sally port leads out into the white field beyond. you can see just absolutely breathtaking. You didn't really have a moment to look at this landscape when you crash landed your plane here. It is up on sort of the cliff behind you, which you had scaled down before. But yeah, there's this great surface of this frozen lake kind of stretching out in front of you. And in the distance, you can see beautiful mountain peaks rising. It is cold, it's October. And you have come out, Ransom and Shailee, to get a signal to try and communicate with your sort of patron on this mission. You have the wealthy telecom billionaire who is financing your covert operation. So what are the two of you doing?
Well, given that Ransom has broken the comm device that he had earlier, Shailee will use it, but she's actually she specifically wants to call, where is it in my notes?
Dr. Park.
Dr. Park, yes, because she doesn't really give two shits about what Dundee is it, Hopper?
Comcast Dundee.
Comcast Dundee. Yes. So she's gonna call it the smart doc, and I guess she's gonna try to connect. I don't know if that's gonna go through. Or
Absolutely. You don't need to roll to make a phone call. You're a very capable person. It rings for kind of a while as you're as you're waiting, and then finally, after about a minute and a half, you hear, Shailee?
Hey, so we found something. We found it. There's Jaegers here.
How many?
We saw 2. But there's no one else here.
Were you able to determine what caused the facility to be abandoned?
Were we able to determine that, y'all?
Some dumb fuck dropped kaiju blood into lava.
Right. Yes. It's been 2 weeks. Yes. Somebody was playing chemistry class and did a very it went on a misadventure mixing kaiju blood and lava, and well,
Interesting.
it's a ghost facility now.
That's extremely good to know. It is a hazardous material at the best of times.
Yeah.
Are you
And,
experiencing any ill effects?
none that I've seen yet, but we would like to get out of here as fast as possible, because I don't think my buddy here wants more random substances affecting his body in
Of
a way
course
that
not.
cannot be controlled.
I will let you know that I have also I stepped out of a meeting to take your call, but I was not the first one to step out of the summit. My Russian colleague seemed rather perturbed by a call that he received.
Okay.
So you may want to accelerate your timetable.
So our aircraft might be a little completely destroyed-ish.
Are you all right?
We're okay, but we had to go down dramatically in order to get some eyes off of us. It got a little hot, and
I see.
we had to improvise.
Well then, if you can remove the Jaegers by piloting them, that would be a solution to both of these problems, although it will hardly be subtle.
Well, yeah, and it also, I mean, I know Ransom is a distinguished person with a lot of experiences, but you're also asking us to traumatize each other in a very short period of time and be successful.
I'm aware that your experiences with the drift have been largely negative, Shailee, but I ran
Understatement.
all of those diagnostic models myself. I think that you will be a compatible fit.
Is that the only option we have?
Unless you can find about 15 Chinook helicopters and people to pilot them.
God damn it. There it is.
Hold on. Because I see Ransom gesturing a bunch.
Saying?
I'm gonna take out my comm and give it to Ransom and say, they want us to pilot them out of here. I don't know if you want to say anything. I hand you the comm.
The facility. Do you want us to leave it intact?
Ah, Sergeant Holt. Hello. I see no reason to destroy it, particularly if there are hazardous materials that can cause an ill reaction when mixed. It might be best to leave it intact. Besides, we may be able to find out more later, but as I was telling Shailee, I think your time might be limited.
Yeah, I missed that bit of it. Do we have incoming?
It's possible. I'm not sure. You could talk to Ryland, Mr. Altis, and
Ransom immediately hands the comm unit back to Shailee.
so you missed the rest of whatever it is that Dr. Park said.
Could you repeat what you just said? The comm was in transport.
Oh, I just said, Ryland might be able to give you a better picture. He has a ship waiting off the coast, I believe. I'm sure it's equipped with radar. He may be able to tell you if there are any incoming... What is the word? Bogies?
That's good to know. I'll get Rachel on it as the comms expert. This seems like probably more in her wheelhouse.
Right.
Okay, well, I guess we should get a move on.
I have to step back to the summit now. But thank you, Shailee. What you're doing is very important.
Yeah, well, let's just hope we're able to do it and don't go chasing rabbits down holes and end up in Wonderland.
Good
Goodbye.
luck. And she hangs up.
Yeah. I am immediately going to, I'm assuming we're going back in, but even while walking, like rushing back in, she's going to ping Rachel and Lee and fill them in on the whole conversation, including the incoming bogeys, including that perhaps Rachel should get in contact with Rylan, and so that we can have, I guess, external ears to figure out what's coming in from where, and then head up to the acres.
Do you want to do that while you're still out there and not inside the base, perhaps?
I don't think we have time. We need to get more.
Fair. All right.
Maybe when we get the Jaegers out, if.
Speaking of, Rachel, you were over in the J-Tech division, I do believe.
I was.
And I believe that we said you spotted sort of the command center from which all of the neural handshakes could be initiated.
Yeah.
Anything else like that? Your drive has just finished downloading all of the data that you sort of scrubbed off of these computers when you get this ping from Shailee.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll head to the operations room then. I can't remember what it's actually officially called.
Yeah, me neither. I probably should have looked that up, huh?
Like bridge operating?
I believe it's called the bridge. Like many things are.
I think Lee would have
sure that's
been
what it was.
actively looking for Rachel as well after being a little shaken up last time, so he's just sort of meandering around trying to find her at this point.
Yeah, right as you're kind of coming out, the two of you are sort of coming out of opposite wings of this facility, both kind of clutching small drives with the data that you were able to recover.
Yeah, so he's like, hey.
I want to talk to whoever made these and hire them immediately, but I suppose we should wait until after this.
So
Operating room.
You found very different information than I did then, because I feel like I'll explain when everyone's here. But
we
suffice
can
it to say, I don't
trade
think we
notes on
should
the way.
split up in this place.
We were
Right.
already rushing towards y'all.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm gonna, if I remember right, it was like the big room, like the docking bay hangar, whatever we're calling it, with like the bridge operating room was sort of like on the side, hovering, like attached to the wall
actually-
by catwalks and such. Or
It's actually a big tower in the center of the room with the kind of the Jaegers kind of back to back on either side of it. And there's like a little industrial lift that goes up to the top, like
Okay.
an open-sided elevator.
would it be fair to assume that under whatever winter gear we're wearing, we were already in like Jaeger? I also can't remember what they're called. The uniforms with the spines and everything.
Probably
Oh, like the-
not.
No, okay.
But you
I
may
would've-
be able
would-
to find some.
Okay, we wouldn't have brought that with us.
I believe that they have to be specifically designed to fit with the particular Jaeger.
Ah,
The
okay.
pilot suits, right? You're talking about, yeah.
Okay. We should probably find those then. Would I
like
know where they
talking
are
about it.
based on?
It's
You
drive suit.
You can for
Thank
sure
you.
make a check for that. That's going to be an investigation, which is going to be wits plus renegade.
Is there a
I'm good at
helping
one of
I can
those.
do?
Yes, there is.
That's
You
not
remember
what I
how
want.
that
I want
works?
this one.
You can just like make a roll, and if you get however many
Yes.
hits you get, we'll add advantage to her roll.
Thank you. That's
Okay.
exactly right.
So,
It's like you wrote the game.
Right,
Wits and renegade, yeah.
okay, so that's a D10 and a D6.
So are you helping me or am I helping
I'm helping you, but I rolled a 7 and a 6.
All right, so Rachel, you will get a D8 advantage on your roll.
Sweet. I'll take it. So that is 2d8 sanity. 10. That is 2 successes.
All right, yeah, you know where they would be kept. You're able to get in there. It is locked. You find the room that you think is marked appropriately. You kind of hold up your translator and it does say like equipment storage. It's kind of down in the base of that tower. But yeah, it is locked behind a keypad.
Oh, a keypad.
Indeed.
Okay, that's probably more my area than Ransom's. Then, so I'm gonna pull out my various equipment and start trying to hack the keypad.
Absolutely. Make me a hacking roll. That's gonna be computers, wits plus specialist.
Computers, sweet, and I have double advantage on that. So another d8. Wits plus specialist, you said?
Indeed.
Specialist, I want one of these. Okay, that is 3 successes.
Yeah, no problem. You get in there. And actually, as you walk in, all of the lockers that are in this room also simultaneously pop open. Just the sort of master override that you were able to find. Sends all of that. And yeah, you can see that there are 2 sort of bays of lockers. Not very many. There's like 6 lockers in here. 2 of them appear to be largely empty. But you do see the flight suits. One of the sets of lockers has kind of a bluish tint to it, and the other one has kind of a reddish tint to it, matching the Jaegers outside.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Well
as we
then.
kind of get to these things and they sort of like dramatically reveal the suits, Lee just kind of sort of heavily says, "Well, I guess the cavalry's really not coming then, huh? Listen, if I wasn't already hesitant to do this, I think you guys should know before we hop in these things. They were running some kind of program here. They called it Delta Protocol, and whatever they were doing, it caused their pilots to exhibit psychic abilities, not like the small latent ones that, you know, are sometimes attributed to the program, but stuff pretty off the charts."
A powerful ghost bridge. Huh. Interesting. Hopefully that doesn't, you know. Speaking of, and I'm gonna point to the blue one is Bruiser, right?
No, the blue one is midnight.
Blue one is Midnight. Okay. Mixing it up from the colors that are on our sheets.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm going to point to the red ones and say, I believe those are for you two, with Bruiser Minerva, which is the larger one in there. And we will be taking Midnight Sinister, which is the smaller one. But that one looks like it'll be more your style. It's got, more fighting focused than...
Got Bruiser in the name?
Yeah. She's still like a little bit out of it, both from the almost falling out of an airplane and the deep dive into the tech.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Rachel, you were able to spot several of sort of the top line features of each of these Jaegers. So like you have at least a general idea of what each of the mech traits of them are.
I give like a quick rundown.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I could go into more detail, but we all know.
You'll see
They
it
don't, but we do.
eventually.
I think your suggestion's a good one. Minerva seems like the one we need to be in. Hit things, get out.
Do you two want to go first, since I can sort of operate the bridge if need be?
Well,
What's the worst that could possibly happen?
Why would you ever say that?
shit. Well,
Go outside.
I mean, I've
Go
got
outside
a couple
and
of
spit.
ideas.
Come
Stay
back.
here.
Come back to me when you're taking
Go
medication for
outside.
the rest of your life.
Go outside and spit.
here.
Like, she looks dead serious. Go outside and spit.
Ransom spits on the floor.
Outside.
Why?
Shailee's already
Because you
climbing
have
up.
just tempted the wrath out.
Can you make me a check?
What am I
Ransom's
thinking?
too much of a dick to just follow orders.
I would-
Intimidate?
I would take intimidation or influence. Are you?
I'm far better at one of those.
I'm
than
going
the
to declare myself a pain in the ass and insist upon a check.
That's fine.
I mean, we don't have time to go outside. It's
other. Okay, I can't charm, can I?
Is Ransom
into the
capable of
lava.
being charmed?
Another-
Fair. Fair.
point.
Okay, so that's probably what, hearts and leader?
That's right.
There it is.
Are all of us just awful at heart?
No, Rachel's
Three
pretty bad.
successes. 3 successes.
Oh, 3 success. Yeah.
Oh,
There's
Ransom
things
goes out
I'm
to
good
the
at, and this is one
catwalk
of
and spits off the catwalk because there's not time to go outside. Walks
I'll
out.
accept it.
It's just
Happy
a small sizzle in the lava.
Yeah.
I think Shailee
We-
will see that and just be like, "That looks like fun," and spit too.
All right. So
No.
are you guys suiting up?
Yeah, and as we're doing that, Shailee is going to tell Ransom. I don't know if you read my file and what happened, but every time I've tried to go back in to the drift, the person I'm with ends up reliving, well, my most traumatic memory, which was being strapped into a con pod and getting hurt in an explosion that caused my drift partner to die a very painful death. And it happened in a con pod, so there's no way I can avoid it. And that means there's no way you can avoid it. And turns out experiencing dying isn't a thing most people are cut out for.
Well, it won't be the first partner I've lost. I'm sure it won't be the last.
How much long are you planning on doing this?
Well, and Ransom checks his watch and then realizes he isn't wearing a watch, but pretends to look at it anyways. Like, I got a couple more hours left in the tank.
All right. What about you? Anything I should know before we go in there?
Yeah. How do you feel about kids?
Love them if they're not mine.
Oh, these ones ain't yours. But you might get attached in a way that you don't want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we could just play a game of mine's worse than yours and see who wins.
It's a losing proposition on both parts.
Oh, yeah. Everything about this is lose-lose.
Yeah, well, what's the payout? 100,000?
Well, I mean, it's going to pay for a lot of therapy that we're going to need if we survive this. Well, I guess I should say a lot more therapy.
I'm thinking a beach house. Down in Baja, probably.
Yeah, that does sound nice, but
Beachfront
Also-
property's real cheap these days.
you should also really look into a therapist, though.
Nah, not my style.
Yeah, I know, but I know you're old, but you gotta get over that, man.
I assume
Some things come and some things go. I'll see a therapist when I die.
that you guys are having this conversation as you're helmets
Yeah.
under arms riding up in the lift to the
Absolutely.
Um,
It's the walk and talk.
There's dramatic, kind of do, starting to you just now notice that the music's starting to get more intense.
Well, if you were listening to my music, Hopper, you'd know.
Oh shit!
I just realized I wasn't in a roll 20 and I'm opening it up.
I
you know
am, and I
what?
can't hear it, so I don't know what that's about.
You might have the tab muted. All of my players got traumatized because I left Club Seamus on repeat on the
nice.
player map.
Yeah, so you guys, the lift stops and you see, well, I guess, Rachel and Lee, are you guys kind of up in the bridge at this point?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Lee slides up on a rolling chair to beside where Rachel is, whatever she's doing, just probably furiously diving into computer terminals or something like that. And he's like, "Gotta say, I didn't take you for the superstitious type."
Engineer comes with the territory.
Yeah, and then he pulls out a little necklace with a rabbit foot on it, and then he kisses it. He's like, "I know what you mean."
So, to be fair, as my grandfather says, I'm not superstitious, really. That's unlucky.
Then he starts trying to help you, and then I think he just realizes he starts not just the language barrier, but he starts to realize that this is stuff way beyond his depth. You know what I
Well,
mean? He's really
To be
trying
fair, this isn't her department either. She's basically going
Right.
on, I know sort of how this works.
There is actually,
Yeah,
Lee,
same.
a station that would be good for you to manage, which is just
Okay.
there will be a monitor where their vitals and stuff will come up.
Right.
So just reading that, I assume anyone who's been trained to be a Jaeger pilot at least knows how to read that.
Totally, yeah. He starts to take a look at one station and he's like, no. And then he turns the wheelie chair around and he's like, okay, at this, I think I can at least help and try to make sure that they're okay.
All right, Rachel, can you you don't need to make a check just yet. So you're typing in commands, and you guys watch as the hatch at the back of the head of Bruiser Minerva just kind of lifts open, servos and hydraulics whooshing. Slightly stale air kind of wafts out, and you see soft glowing lights begin to spring into existence. Two of the cradles, the neural bridge cradles, kind of start swinging down from the ceiling as you step in unison inside the con pod.
As we step into the thing. I don't know what the inside of the con pod looks like, but kind of just
Holy shit, is that padding? Did they put padding in this generation?
Oh,
This is swank.
yeah. Well, I mean, look at your suit. You can actually move in it, and it's not a freaking, sumo suit.
Look, they did what they were supposed to do. Well, which they didn't actually do that. They existed, all right?
It's better. Let's just leave it at it got better.
All right, Calais, I would like you to make me a computers check.
Okay. Let's see. Computers, I just had it up, and I'm just going to double check I have correct dice. That is wits plus specialist, yes?
Indeed.
So that is still the correct dice. Okay. That is 2 successes.
All right, so you guys see the bridge cradle swing down, the hand and foot kind of clamps come up as well. It's just sort of yawning open, waiting for you to step inside. And you kind of hear Rachel come on over the PA telling you that everything's ready to go.
Break a leg. Metaphorically, please. These are expensive.
Shailee, before she steps in, is going to pull out that flask that she had earlier. And just kind of shrug at Ransom and say, well, I'll either see you out there or in Wonderland. Just take a big old swig and step in.
Hoorah. And Ransom does not. And will also step in and lock his feet into position.
Awesome.
Ready for drop?
And if you guys signal your readiness, you
Locked in. And I guess Shailee will start pressing the internal buttons because I mean,
yeah.
I figure Ransom's just gonna let her do that.
Yeah, Ransom, you see a holographic kind of pad of numbers and characters kind of spring up next to you. And you just see Shailee kind of reach over and slide it over in front of her and start.
Yeah, and just start bringing systems online.
Yeah, and then
Make
you
sure our
see,
vitals are being pushed to Lee, things like that.
and then you just see a big button. And the UI is very similar to what you're used to, but is actually in Russian, so you don't recognize the characters on it. But it is very clearly a go button.
Yeah. All right, you ready for me to press the big red button?
Let's do it.
All right. You hear
Initiating neural handshake.
and I would like each of you to roll to drift. So this is going to be your drift rating plus your heart die.
They should have not both sucked at heart.
Do we both have we both have a D6.
Yeah.
Oh,
And your
man.
drift rating
Me
is
too.
currently a D10, I believe.
That is correct.
All right, I got one hit.
Oh, that is a 10 and a 5.
All right, that is 2 hits for you, Ransom. Each of you start seeing images kind of flashing by, this rush of blue light. Hold on, this was my attention before we knew it was going to happen, but now it's badass time.
Shout out to my cool cyberpunk dice.
You see,
I do like this.
nice. You see images rushing by in blue light, snippets of memories that in past drops have pulled you in, but you can kind of see each other out of the corners of your mental awareness. Anchors that are kind of pulling you forward towards this glowing nexus of energy. And you feel just sort of being pulled through space, and then a sudden awareness of your entire body around you, only it's not your body. It's so much bigger, so much more powerful. And all of you here.
Neural handshake complete.
What does Bruiser Minerva do?
Is she disconnected from the hanger?
I think
attachment?
you're still kind of connected in the back a little bit. And actually, Lee, will you go ahead and make me a quick science check as well?
Yes, I will do that for you. 3 hits actually.
Ooh, yeah.
Even with the condition.
Their vitals are looking really good, really strong.
Yeah.
You're kind of reading and you see the patterns of like the brainwaves starting to sync up really smoothly and really strongly. Everything looks really good.
He says everything checks out A-okay. Godspeed, Jaegers. Hunters.
Rangers, I think is the word you want.
Rangers.
Yes.
Rangers is the word I was
It's been
looking
a
for.
long day.
Yeah,
Part of the
He's
program, right?
very nervous, so I think he actually says this.
Yeah.
and Rachel, you can see the sort of the switch to detach the Jaeger from the dock.
Nicely done.
I think Shailee is still going to be a little bit quiet based on what she just experienced. But as they detach, she's just going to say, "You should have told me to finish that flask." But I think they'll take a step forward.
Yeah.
They're not going to leave without midnight.
I think there's a step forward, shoulder roll. Like just kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe
that
some
was
like
easy.
hand flexing, like yeah,
yeah, I'm definitely picturing the
yeah.
yeah.
And
With the first step, the entire facility just vaguely shakes as this titanic Jaeger in deep blues with accents of red and violet kind of steps forward, rolling its shoulders, putting its hands together, moving smoothly and easily. And the two of you up in the bridge see Minerva take her first step.
Yeah, and I think Rachel would notice Lee sort of probably a hand actively jittering and like has not put his suit on yet, and sort of like feeling the like impact of the thing shaking through the compound.
It does take her a second to notice because at first she's like very caught up in, oh my god, it works, it's beautiful, that's the most amazing thing. And like in fact she's saying like a quiet prayer under her breath of just like, wow. But she does notice, and then she sort of like on her professional smile and says, well, we can't let them outdo us, can we?
He sort of looks up at you, and he kind of eventually puts a big smile on his face, and he stands and he looks down at the suit and he lifts it up and holds it in his hands. He's just like, God damn it. And then he says, I'm all right, I'm gonna give me a moment of privacy. And then he walks around the corner and starts putting on a suit.
Question. I guess it was kind of unclear from the movies. It seems like everyone can hear everybody.
I would say in this case that the two Jaegers have comlink, and comlink
Also, we still
to
have-
Yeah. Okay.
well, these
Oh.
Jaegers are linked together and to this bridge, so you guys will be able to hear each other.
Okay. Because then Shailee is also gonna say, I don't really understand the science behind how Dr. Park matched us up, but if me and the old geezer can do it, I'm feeling pretty good about your chances.
also,
We also still have the earpieces in, I think, from before.
Except Ransom, so this actually lets Ransom
Then
have the conversation.
Ransom
Ransom
can hear
like
now.
Ransom's slaps the CB radio button. And also, we've got incoming. So hurry the fuck up.
Like, I'm moving.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
so he-
Ransom. Actually, if you want to
zips up
make
the
a
thing.
if you want to make a wits and systems check to try and scan using Minerva,
Oh, yeah.
you can totally do that. It's gonna
Wits
be
and specialists.
no wits and system, your mech attributes.
Oh,
Boom! I am gonna give you a disadvantage because you're inside this facility, which is pretty heavily shielded.
Okay, so that is I'm using my
Your wits, Minerva's
which is a
system,
D8, and then system and D6,
and then another D6,
where-
and you take the two lowest results.
and another D6, and I take the two lowest of the D6s. Is that correct? Okay. Well, that would have been a 6. Instead, it's a 3 and a 5. So a total. I think that's
success?
one success.
Yeah, you're kind of fiddling with it, and the holographic screen kind of pops up next to your hand again, and you're kind of zooming in a little bit and looking. And you do get a blip right at the edge of the radar. You're not sure necessarily what it was, but it does seem like there's something out there. Whether it's a plane or like just flying over or what, you don't know.
Ransom tries to like enhance it for a little bit. It's like,
You know that's not how pixels work, right?
and slides the hologram over to Shailee.
And then Shailee will try to see if she can pull like other systems to look at it because sorry buddy, what you see on TV enhancing is mostly bullshit.
I had high hopes.
We will get to that in just a moment. In the meantime, I think Rachel and Lee, Rachel, with your good computer rolls earlier, you were able to kind of like set a timer for that same kind of protocol that you ran to run again for midnight. So you guys will kind of have to hoof your way on over there shortly if you want to make it.
Ready?
Yeah, so he's like, how long we got?
A plot amount of
A
time.
minute. I don't know.
So like, I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right there. Start the lift.
I can pause it if you need to.
Like, no, I'm coming. But no, he just does that, then he comes back and he's ready to go.
Are you guys
He's like steps on the lift.
So
and,
do you use the metric system or the imperial system? Oh, we use the plot system.
Yes, you
Yeah,
guys.
so
In fact,
makes-
metric minutes are slightly different, because they're more pretentious.
You guys are standing kind of shoulder to shoulder as the lift
Yeah.
is going up the side next to Midnight.
Lee says, so you read the file?
Yep. You?
I skimmed it. There's been a lot going on. I really was holding
There
out
really
on the fact that
has.
we wouldn't, have to do this. But,
Yeah.
and then he looks at you genuinely now, but we'll be okay.
We'll be okay. We'll be fine. Once more into the breach, dear friends, once more.
Then he puts his helmet on.
Yeah, the con pod in Midnight is actually not up in the head. It's kind of down in the chest a little bit more. Although it definitely looked from the outside like it would be, but like many things about this Jaeger, it's a little bit deceiving. And you step through kind of behind the open arms, which have these long kind of like blade-like protrusions sticking off the back of them, which Rachel, you read in your research, can be used for temporary or short distance flight. So yeah, you step kind of between the foils and into the con pod, and again you see that sequence of the cradles lowering, the spiraling open of the various parts that are just waiting for pilots.
And I think Lee
She'll take
notices
a
that
deep breath
this.
and like visibly braces herself, and then. Yeah,
And this
go ahead.
cockpit is set up a little differently, right? It's like a little reversed from the normal. Like
Yes.
the dominant side is the left.
That's correct.
Yeah, so Lee, as they get in the cockpit, is like listen, it's difficult for me to like let go in terms of if one of us is gonna kill us, I'd rather it be me. Do you mind if I take?
I mean, I suppose I was going to Alpha being left-handed, but
And then he says, no, you go ahead.
you're sure.
The nerds are so awkward.
Lee, I would say that will clear your condition. You're making a sacrifice. You are sacrificing something you really want, which is control.
Yeah, for Lee, it is. I think he's a guilty guy, but also like overly guilty, overconscious, like about that sort of stuff. So I think it is actually difficult for him to like let go of that and like really trust somebody else to be the one that he's like backing up in this situation. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, he takes a step back and sort of like remembers, I think, the situation they were in playing, remembering that like, you know, Rachel was fully capable. It was Lee, if anything, who was the one who almost blew the whole situation. So he's like, okay.
All right, and you guys step into your loadouts. They swing down and connect with the spine in your suits, and the helmets begin to fill up with transfer gel. And I want you guys to go ahead and roll as you hear.
Initiating neural handshake.
All right.
Hearts and drift, right?
Heart and drift.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm physically nervous now, like in real life. 1 success.
We got 0 successes.
All right. Oh, wait, just really quickly, one bookkeeping thing. Ransom, you had 2 successes, right?
I had
I think he had 3.
3.
You clear 2 stress. Sorry, I forgot to
Thank
say that
you.
earlier. All right,
Cool.
so Rachel, you're kind of closing your eyes, stepping in. You see a couple of images flash. You want to step down that hallway towards that younger self, but you're like, no, I'm here for a reason. And you can feel something, and you realize that Lee needs you. So Lee, where are you?
Yeah, so I think Lee is in a bedroom, a quiet bedroom in which 2 people are just like sitting there in complete silence, like sort of hands in their head, just both like absolutely just like the tension in the air palpably for a long time. And then suddenly the like one of the people is Lee, like on the bed, like facing his hands, and then like a woman who suddenly stands up from the edge of the bed as well and just like screams. She has like tears running down her face, like mascara running. And she's like, I can't believe that you would do this. And I cannot believe that you would do this and then drift with me afterwards. And then she's like, people died. And she's just like on edge, afraid. He is just sort of like beside himself, looks like he wants to disappear, just sort of like despondent. And we see images of a big Jaeger, sort of like out of control, taking big swaths that are sort of like wrecking equipment all around it in like a training facility. We see like a steamy kiss in a hallway with a woman who is not the woman in the bedroom. And then we see flashes of the Jaeger that sort of starts to like grab at its own like chest piece and begins to like rip off parts of its own hull. And yeah. And so that's what Rachel sort of is getting glimpses of, and, you know, waves of guilt. Uh-oh. More technical difficulties. This drifting is difficult, is really, I think, the thing that we have learned.
I was going to say, Calais, can you still hear us?
Now I can. I'm just swimming mostly into the void. Don't mind me.
So yeah, you see this kind of kaleidoscoping of Lee's memories, and you can feel just the air around you growing heavier and heavier with layers of guilt and shame and anger and frustration. And you're kind of standing in the doorway to this room that you can see very clearly isn't connected to anything. All of its hard edges start fraying away into blue light as these images loop kind of over and over again. What are you doing, Rachel?
Crying because my internet is stupid. So if I cut out again, because I did miss a little bit of that, although I got the rest from context, that's why, because apparently the internet hates me. But aside from that, in the game, she's going to sort of watch the scene for a second. She looks at the woman with kind of a conflicted isn't quite the word, but like it's clear that, you know, she knows this woman and it's actually a friend of hers. So it does take her a moment, but she sort of goes over to Lee and just kind of like whacks him on the shoulder and is like, hey, Alice, wake up. That's the wrong voice.
And
Hey, Alice.
he sort of turns to you with like
Lee,
bloodshot
you don't
eyes.
hear anything.
Oh, sorry.
Rachel, you're kind of touching him and shaking him, and you get the feeling that he can't hear you.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to try something a little more extreme. Your hand almost kind of passes through him a little bit.
So she sort of considers for a second, like leans back, just kind of like crouching next to the bed so it's not, you know, awkwardly height distant. So she kind of like leans back on her haunches, thinks for a second, and then tries to remember, like pull up one of her own memories sort of afterwards, you know, after some time had passed and people were finally starting to like move on. She thinks of a memory of a phone call or like a video chat probably with that same woman, where they're, you know, sort of chatting, hanging out, laughing, and she's sort of trying to get the thought across to him of, you didn't do any, like, you know, like she will be okay. It's okay.
Make a willpower check.
Which is
that is going to be heart and leader.
Okay, those are. Someone's gonna have to check my character sheet because
I got you. I got you.
Those are 12s, I think, right?
They are a 12 and a 10.
10. Okay. Which one's the 10? There it is. That is 3 successes.
Very nice. So yeah, Rachel, you kind of focus, and we see kind of from the woman who's like yelling and screaming, and it sort of flashing into that Jaeger tearing itself apart. The woman kind of stops and freezes awkwardly, almost sort of glitching for a second, and then turns towards you, Rachel, and starts like smiling and laughing, kind of like sitting down now at a desk that has materialized out of nowhere. And Lee, you see that abrupt shift happen. And you start to see everything else looking a little less real, starting to fray into this blue light. And you see Rachel starting to flicker in and out, standing in front of you, looking kind of at this now changed apparition and also at you.
Yeah. So he looks up there like again, I think with kind of bloodshot, puffy eyes, and looks back over at the woman now in like a happy scene from the time after, and he just sort of sullenly says, "I guess we're both in better places now than we were."
Well, I don't know that I'd call a biohazard of an illegal Russian Jaeger facility a better place, but certainly a different one.
Well, you didn't know me back then, did you?
Barely. And she kind of like reaches out a hand to pull him up.
Yeah, and so he will reach out and he grasps her hand and he squeezes it really tight.
Yeah, you grab it and she pulls you forward and your consciousness kind of comes back to in the con pod and you hear
Neural handshake reinitialized.
sorry, I'll turn that vocal effect off.
No, it's so good. I love it
thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah, we can just write that out.
I want to have entire conversations with the AI.
No, that'll
well,
be if we ever do a Marvel thing.
No, that's a whole thing in
in the black, yeah.
in the black, into the black.
Nice. Yeah, and Lee says now a little bit more conscious. He's just like riding a bike.
Cool.
And I think you hear Shailee come over the comms and say, Rachel, Lee,
I think
what's
we're
going
all
on in
right.
there? All right. We got to get moving.
You do hear one other thing, which is
Instabilities detected in neural handshake. Initiate Delta protocol?
Who hears this?
in the cockpit of Midnight Sinister.
Of midnight.
And you see a large sort of screen pop up with a button that there's like one that's green and one that's red.
Speaking of
glance at-
fucking sinister,
I know.
I'm gonna glance at Lee, who actually knows what the heck that means.
And he would say this over all the open comms. He says, "My gut feeling is that we should say no." But also in his head, he's like, "Oh God, Shailee and Ransom probably already pushed the button before I even said that."
No,
They
that
didn't get
button
the
that
option.
button only comes up in midnight.
Yeah, and so he says, "As curious as I am, something tells me we should say no."
Well, I guess we'll see how it goes then.
All right. From your drift initiation, both Rachel and Lee are going to take 1 stress. I will mark that down on your sheet for you, Rachel.
Thank you.
All right. And then Midnight gets to take its first step. Tell me, what does Midnight do? Midnight Sinister.
Well, Rachel's the lead pilot, so
Yeah.
Probably takes a couple steps forward and does one of those like stretch, like you can't see me because if I turn on my camera the internet will crash again, but let's try and see if it works. He does one of those like back and forth,
Yeah.
like side to side, just kind of like some stretches, and
you do calisthenics.
does a little bit, just like to see, range of movement of the
Yeah.
robot.
Yeah,
and this thing has like big angular like flat wings as well, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I imagine
yeah,
at some
when
point
you-
revealed dramatically.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of stretch, kind of sharp elbowed, and then as you reach up with that one hand, the hand kind of locks into place, and kind of from this sort of like dragonfly fold on the back, the wings just shoot out and lock into place, which actually
Nice.
locks the arms open a little bit. But you're able to sort of disengage it and fold them back in, and I think we see the two Jaegers. Bruiser Minerva is taller and definitely a lot broader and heavier looking. Midnight is sleek and tall, but quite thin by comparison. As the two Jaegers kind of face each other for a moment. Shailee, you told me that you were also looking at the scanner that Ransom had been looking at.
Yeah.
All right, can you go ahead and roll wits plus systems?
Wits and systems. Let's see. Where's my character? Systems is a 6, and then wits is a 10. All right. That's a 2 and a 5. So
All right,
that's a
so
1.
One success. You see the same just blip that Ransom saw, and you kind of point it out, and you can't tell what it is, but it is closer.
Okay. Midnight. We have something incoming. Rachel, do you want to see if you can get Ryland on? We should get out of here.
All right, let's go.
We're gonna start heading to the big old gates. They know we're here. There's not really any point being subtle now.
You guys
It
do
would be
all
difficult to be
remember-
so.
I think Ransom in particular, you remember as Shailee kind of starts stepping you guys towards the front door, that immediately outside the front door there is a frozen lake, which may or may not be able to support the Jaegers. And you guys had observed previously, this was 5 minutes ago for your characters, but 2 weeks ago for you guys, so I will remind you, that there is a hatch up at the top that opens up.
All right.
Also, we should either just get or destroy the plane, which Ransom is going to suggest. This may not be a covert operation, but we should destroy the plane if we can't take it with us.
We could try taking it with us. I mean,
We could pick it
knock
up.
on wood, we aren't fighting any kaiju yet, so we might have hands free. How
Or
big
we
is the
just
plane
step on
compared to a Jaeger? It's like fairly
you could
small,
hold
right?
it in your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember that scene in Pacific Rim where they took that incredibly long shipping barge?
Yeah.
It wouldn't
plane-
work.
I thought it was a whaling
It
torch.
would crack in half anyway.
The boat sword. You're talking about the boat sword.
The bolt
Yeah.
hammer. It's a
Earlier on, which is like a better indication of size too, even you have them rescuing the you have Gypsy
Bus
Danger
full of
rescuing
people,
the
yeah.
That's more
bus
what
full
I
of
was-
people, but that fishing dinghy too, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
about
That's what I was
plane
thinking of.
sized, and
So
that
it's like
thing
a toy
gets,
to us.
yeah, that thing was toy sized in its hand.
Big
Yeah.
beefy hands.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So.
The Jaegers are beautiful ladies who could snap you like a twig.
So yeah, so
Yes.
Lee is sort of, I think, just trying to figure out what this thing is exactly capable of. I think he could tell that it's pretty advanced, right, in terms of like anything that he's seen like
But you
this.
can see into my brain at the moment, and I know what's going on with these more or less.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And yeah, no, he's like, I feel like my brain is a Ferrari. I know that doesn't make any sense, but that's like how I feel right now.
I understand. A little offended at that you chose that car over, but I understand.
He's like, I think there's a hatch above us.
How do
And
we
then he
get there?
and then he tries to figure out how to like, signal to open the hatch.
Oh, well, I was gonna say we could try flying up to it, but there's probably an actually better way to do that, I suppose.
I mean,
Some of us can't fly.
is there?
How high up above us is it?
It's about half again the height of the Jaegers.
So about arm's reach.
You could maybe do. It would be more of a hup and catch.
Oh, okay.
And pull yourself up kind
Can
of
the
deal.
Jaegers lift each other, like gymnast style?
Minerva could probably lift Midnight, probably not the other way around.
That's fair. Unfortunately, we're the ones who can fly,
Yes.
so we don't need to be lifted.
All right. Do you wanna? Shailee will turn to Ransom and say, "You want to give this girl a good old try?"
Oh yeah.
And I think you'll probably see them like simultaneously crouch and like just basically squat jump.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like Lee will see that and telepathically, I think he'll or like through the comms would be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're doing something else. I misunderstood what was happening.
Oh, what did you?
I apologize. You go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe open the thing first and then jump.
They're already jumping, which I love.
We don't know how to. We don't have time to do this. We're gonna punch our way through.
Collectively, you add Ransom and Shailee together, and you get a Thembo. Like
They are shihimbo in a. They're gonna punch their way out, y'all. Like, come on.
As a
Go.
matter
You
of
have the
fact,
brain cell, you have the common sense.
you exactly are going to do just that. So I would like you to make a melee Jaeger attack, which I believe
Is this our first Jaeger punch?
Jaeger punch. So this is gonna be your arsenal plus your drift die.
Okay.
And you guys do have a couple of things here. If I'm not much mistaken, I'm gonna say like kind of like the afterburners kind of kick in a little bit. You get a little bit of that lift. You guys see the calves kind of open up and a little bit of like, you know, small rockets kind of lifting this enormous thing off of the ground. And yeah, I need you guys to make that punch.
Do both of us roll?
Why don't one of you roll each die, because they're the same. So one of you roll, I think, a d10, and one of you roll a d12. How about that?
You said arsenal, right? Okay. What do you want to roll, Hopper?
I'm flex. I can do either.
Okay, I'll do the 12 if you want to do the 10.
Works for me.
Okay, that's a 9. And a 6.
So 2 successes. Yeah, absolutely. We see Minerva take that big rocket jump, and then we also see another articulating rocket in the elbow. And like a much classier Rock'em Sock'em robot, Minerva's hand kind of extends a little bit, gaining thrust, and just the hatch, which clearly with the right controls would kind of spiral open, just bends like
Well,
like the
that brawler's
petals of
coming
a
in
flower.
handy.
Yeah, just explodes upward, and the other hand reaches up and catches. And then I'd like you to just make me a drive check, I think, to pull yourselves the rest of the way up. So drift plus drive.
Drift plus drive. That is a
An 8
D8.
and a 10,
Yeah. I'll take the 10 again.
Okay.
You want to do the D8?
Yep, I got it.
Ooh, that's an 8 on the D10.
Ooh, that's a 4 on the D8.
All right. Well, one success was all you needed for this. You catch and pull, and I think we see in the con pod the kind of grasping in both of your hands, the flexing of your real human muscles as Minerva pulls her way up, kind of shoots herself up and superhero lands on the snow. Like a couple of rocks break off of the side of this mountain and just cascade down onto the frozen lake. And actually quite a bit of snow goes rushing over that little plateau where you would left your plane.
Oh, we could just bury it. Avalanche?
Works for me.
Midnight.
So while they're doing now.
Are we making a world's biggest snowman?
Do you want to build a
This is the
snowman?
best use.
Of
This is
Jaeger
the best
tech
use
ever.
of this like $1 million technology.
Oh, billions.
Yeah.
Billions.
Billion, yeah.
The F-22 Raptor costs like our GDP. I think the Jaeger tech is probably like a bunch of Texas GDP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh. Yay, military-industrial complex.
Yay.
But yeah, so
Yay.
Lee says they're not very subtle, are they?
No. So we show them how it's done.
Let's do it. I assume you want to fly out of here?
Obviously.
Yeah.
All right, so Midnight, can you make me a drive plus drift? So that's gonna be a D8 and a D10.
Sure, I will roll the D8.
I'll take the 10.
One success on my end.
They're
One
not
success
very
on mine.
subtle, are they? Maybe we should fucking fly.
All right, so you guys watch.
As I was
At
saying,
least
it's
we're
cute
not
that
making a loud rumbling noise in an earthquake.
It's cute they think that we want to be subtle. We've got a bogey incoming, y'all.
The aperture is quite small, so you spread the wings, kind of leap into the air. The aerofoils kick in, and then you have to pull them in and then pull them
that's
back
sweet.
out. So it's kind of this very cool, like, almost kind of like, I'm trying to think what flies like this. I guess kind of like,
It's you're doing an inverse peregrine. This is how peregrines dive as they tuck their wings in and spiral.
yeah.
To
So
increase.
it's kind of, I was thinking more like somebody kind of, like, I was thinking very much like a Batman kind of thing as you come up out of it, like kind of gymnast jump, unfurling the wings and then kind of gliding to a landing, kind of on the far side of that little plateau. And then I think just because you guys have a really excellent systems die, Midnight, you hear,
Incoming signal detected.
and you see a little blip on the far side of one of your sensor screens. Just
Can I
because
tell what
Sure.
it is?
it appears to be some sort of flying object. It is moving quite quickly.
Well, we've either got a UFO or a jet coming in.
It looks a little too small to be a jet. And then you
Oh,
see
no.
two more. The signature that is showing up on your sensors is mostly heat.
Missiles incoming.
Do we have a shield? We do.
We do.
We-
And as kind of the two of you are kind of thinking this information, you turn, and over Midnight's shoulder, you can see 3 missiles streaking in your direction. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so I think one of
Plain bat, man. I'm thinking plain bat and shield.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because we have a beam sword, but we don't want to hit a missile with that.
Chain gun could potentially do it, play AA, but I think the shield is the move here to go. We don't
Yeah,
have
we
time
want to try to Captain America shield deflect these suckers.
All right, so
Oh, yeah.
what does it look like as Bruiser Minerva deploys her shield?
You're left-handed, aren't you?
Yeah.
Ransom is. I think. Oh wait,
Ransom
no.
is
Was
left-handed.
it Calais? Calais was. Who was the one complaining about?
I'm
Oh,
lefty.
Lee.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I was
if
the one
Ransom-
going, hey.
If Ransom and Shailee are both right-handed, then it makes sense that they put up. I think Shailee drops a hand out to kind of like drop the shield, or like you see little panels kind of come out from the side of their arm and like form a shield, and come out and in front of them, and then I'll leave it to Ransom if he wants to grab the plane, or if you just want to play keep away with the shield.
Argument. We do that, and as your instinct is to do that, and then through the neural connection, you see Ransom's, like, you feel Ransom's intention. Ransom wants to punch that other unoccupied hand down into the snow, grab the plane, and throw it at the missiles
Oh, that works.
like a fucking frisbee.
All right, so
You know
you're
what?
gonna-
I love this game and the fact that we can do absolutely batshit things.
You can do whatever you want.
Throw a
all right.
goddamn plane.
So Shailee deploys the shield as Ransom kind of reaches down. We see from that superhero landing, you can just kind of do a cool like knee slide, deploying the shield, picking up the plane, getting ready to throw it. What's Midnight doing?
I think we're also deploying our shield, probably, yeah?
Yeah, I think that does sound good. I think as soon as we see Minerva going for it, I think, also sort of reaching for our shield and then attempting to bring it up on the left side, right?
Well, ours is a right or a left dominant Jaeger, so the shield is actually on the right side, probably.
Well, I think it is the wings, right? So don't the wings sort of like they sort of disconnect and then sort of like reassemble around our arms, and we
that works too.
Arms in some sort of
So my question for you,
fashion.
Midnight, is are you waiting for the missile to come to you in impact, or are you gonna try and like hit it and detonate it in the air with your shield?
We have also guns of some variety. We could try shooting the missiles.
Here's the thing that I think would occur immediately to you, Lee, because of your science background, which is you don't know what kind of missiles these are, but it may well be that if they hit this facility, they will cause some pretty bad reactions with its contents.
Right, because of all of the highly volatile stuff around here. So yeah, that makes sense. Then I guess it would make sense to sort of rush up as much as we can to meet these things.
I believe we have some kind of sniping ability, don't we?
We do. I don't know if
you have a particle blaster.
Because that would probably be the best if we can just detonate them from afar.
So you can do that or the shield, because the particle blaster is a heavy weapon, so you can't have the shield equipped till you have that out.
Yeah.
My instinct would be to do that, since we can also probably do it from at least somewhat behind Minerva and take advantage of their shield as well.
Perfect. You know what? Lee's
over the shoulder.
Lee's instinct is to like rush in with this shield, and then like he suddenly realizes that he's not in the dominant position, and then he suddenly gets the instincts of what Rachel wants to do, and that she has this plan and this action, and he immediately sees that like it's a better plan, and he like takes a step back and he's like, yeah, and so he like totally like falls in line and starts to try to like as one unit sort of like pull out this complicated particle blaster and take a shot at one of these missiles.
Yeah, absolutely. So Minerva's gonna go first just because you guys had an issue in the drift, which means you automatically go last.
Totally.
Okay.
So Minerva, you are picking up the tell me what each of your pilot actions are and your mech action.
Alrighty.
It sounded like from that one of you was using a pilot action to like deploy another weapon, using your dual controls.
So would throwing a plane be a ranged attack?
Yes, it certainly would.
So I guess that's gonna be our mech action.
Yeah.
And then for my pilot action, I am going to I'm considering bracing because I have a shield up.
Yeah, so deploying the shield is at least one of your pilot actions based on your dual controls feature.
Okay, so I'll do that and brace.
I'll do focus and the ranged weapon attack, I guess.
Okay, so just to clarify, because we haven't done this before, each of you gets one pilot action. Collectively, you get one mech action.
Okay, so which is the mech action? Is that
would
the
be
ranged
throwing?
attack?
Almost always the attack is going to be your mech action if you're attacking.
Okay, so you can just focus, and then Minerva will do the ranged attack.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So we get advantage on our mech action for this turn. No roll needed. So you get an
extra D6. Yeah, so you've deployed the shield, so that will now be in effect if anything hits you. That'll be Arsenal plus Drift plus advantage. Hopper, since you did the focus, go ahead and roll the advantage die, and then you guys can divide it else however you like. That will be a D10 and a D12.
I can do the 10.
Okay, I'll take the D6 and the D6 and the D12.
Yep.
You know what? I'm gonna match my pride dice for this one. That's a 6 and a 5.
All right, that is 3 successes. So you managed to kind of like grab the plane up, bring the shield up, and kind of skip the plane underhand so that it hits one of the missiles and diverts it into one of the other ones.
Nice.
And they just explode midair. However, one is kind of, you see, kind of come in through the explosion and the smoke, kind of coming forward. And Midnight, you are poised to intercept. So, what are you guys doing on your turn?
Great. We need to use at least one of our pilot actions to sort of pull out this weapon, right? Did you have anything in mind, Rachel?
I mean, in general, my default is probably going to be to recharge since I get advantage on that.
Gotcha.
And we can do that as a pilot action.
You haven't expended any of your energy yet, so...
Yeah.
Yes, but once we shoot, we will have.
That is true.
Well, in that case, do you want to focus on pulling out the weapon and I will analyze to try to like target one of these things and then you can take a shot at it?
Sure.
Yeah, so you're trying to like track the trajectory of this missile?
Yeah, exactly. So it would be drift and our systems.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Let me double check. Yep.
All right. So 2 successes. It would give them disadvantage to defend. We'll see what that does in this scenario.
Well, what it also does is that you kind of hone in the system and you can see that there are planes further back that were firing these missiles.
Gotcha.
They're not quite in visual range just yet, particularly not behind that explosion, but you're kind of analyzing, because the missiles aren't really defending. If you hit them, they will blow up.
Yeah.
They're missiles. But yeah, you can see that
sort of picking
are...
up heat signatures of planes in the distance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So can I ask if I can see that? The particle blaster can sort of like shoot in one straight line. Are they way too far away?
They're quite far away.
Okay,
Yeah, they are
I figured
beyond
probably.
long range.
Yeah, so he's sort of looking at this. He like, obviously it's like a telepathic link. So like my instinct is to keep saying that I tell you things, but you know these things because we're sort of acting in tandem.
If you say them out loud, we can hear it though.
That is
That's
also
a great
true.
point. Then I do say out loud that there are, planes in the distance. These aren't drones. These aren't long-range missiles. And then if you want to take a shot at one of these things, go for it.
All right.
So 2 bumped into each other?
Yeah, so there were
there's
3
one missile
missiles. Yeah. You guys took out 2 and...
Safe.
And
All right.
presumably 3 planes, maybe.
See?
We don't know.
At a guess, we can guess at least 3 planes.
Yeah.
all right. So, Rachel, you pulled out the gun as your pilot action, and so that is gonna be Arsenal plus Drift, so that's gonna be 2 D10s.
All right, let me get out another D10. There we go. Not good. That's 2 misses.
No.
You guys, you know that you can push to re-roll if you want, or if they were 4s, you could boost as well using energy.
No, it was a 2 and a 1.
All right. So you can push yourself to re-roll if you would like, or you can take the hit.
What are you thinking?
Happy to push if you want. Can we split? Do we split the stress between us?
I guess you would, yeah. I hadn't really thought about that. Thank
Sure.
you for finding
So,
the
no
flaws
problem.
in my design immediately.
Do you want to do that and try to re-roll it? I'll take some stress for it.
All right,
so one
we
of you
take
would
one
take
stress.
No,
Or
one of
is
you
it
will
3
take
stress?
2. So.
I can take 2. I think, I can take 2.
Yeah, because you have a
I mean,
thing.
I'm the one shooting, so I can take the 2. We're both too self-sacrificing.
Share
I know.
the load.
Yeah. That's
Much
why we're
better.
matched. That's why we're so matched.
That is 1 success, which is better than none, so we'll take it.
Yeah, so the beam is kind of wavering a little bit as you fire it for the first time. It recoils kind of a little bit. And you see this bright blue kind of beam of energy shooting out of this Well, where is the particle blaster, Rachel? What does it look like?
Let's see. I was kind of just like, maybe because I've been playing Mass Effect lately, the first time, picturing like an actual just sniper rifle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it kind of like unfolds from the back,
Yeah.
on both sides, and this beam of blue-white light. But you weren't expecting quite the kick for it, so you kind of stumble a little bit. But you kind of both simultaneously grit your teeth, set one foot back, and realign it. We watched those three movements happen in perfect tandem. And the beam just reaches up and slices the missile in half, and it explodes, 2 seconds after the other one. Debris starts raining down around you. The plane has now also, the plane that you guys arrived in on, you might be able to find some pieces of it, but it's pretty well blowed up.
My backpack
Solve
was
that
in there.
problem. What's in there?
My backpack.
Well,
All the
I mean,
underwear Lee owns was in that plane.
Hey, you said to take care of the plane.
That's not true. I left one pair back at the facility there when I changed into the suit.
Well, guess you're in luck. Wait, shit,
All
now I'm doing a southern accent. Fuck, no.
All
And
right.
yeah, and so he's like, speaking of which, this thing is full of very unstable chemicals that are prone to explode in violent and dangerous ways when exposed
should probably
to heat and
go.
explosions. I
Yeah,
do think that
let's-
we should probably go.
Let's move. And you said we've got planes incoming too?
Yep.
Yes, from the northeast, perhaps.
What's the,
Actually, from the
what's-
south, pretty much due south.
From the south. That way is south.
Shailee, what are the other armaments on here? Do we have anything useful for anti-aircraft?
Shailee will immediately pop back that hologram back open and kind of do a proper systems check of weapons specifically.
You hear,
Would you like to equip the chain gun?
We've got a chain gun, we've got an SMG, we got a friggin' beam sword. And you already saw the shield.
Man, they just made us punch things. Look at you. You kiddos have it all soft and easy like, don't you?
Hey. If I can, I want to punch him. But I don't think we can punch airplanes without flying.
We could sure try, but chain gun sounds like sounds like the type of superior firepower we need.
So what I'm thinking in terms of what we should do this round is move away from the facility to where if it goes splody, it doesn't go splody on us.
all right,
And then kind of, because the chain gun's a two-handed weapon, kind of like hunker down, brace ourselves, and then open fire. But like kind of away from the splody.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, I think, are just gonna take some turns, kind of moving to the opposite side of this little valley. Is that what?
Yeah.
Are we in agreement about that? All right, let me
Sounds good to me.
open my source book here and look up some
Oh.
planes.
What a lovely looking book. Who
do
could
we
it
do a
possibly
cool-
be that?
Yeah, I can only imagine how cool a person who must write something with a name like that must be.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I
I feel
know.
like they're a freaking nerd.
Nerds are welcome and encouraged here.
Disgusting. Absolutely not.
The nerdier, the better. Let's be real.
All right, I'm just gonna use the helicopter stats because we don't actually have plane stats.
For the Raiders'
Works.
benefication, Justin here wrote the game we are playing, which is why we're all ripping on him.
And you can buy it
and
at the
bu-
20-sided store sometimes.
And you can buy it. Yeah.
Okay.
Which you
yeah.
should do.
So you guys make your way across
Full
the
circle.
valley, and the planes kind of come in. Are you guys like trying to hide or anything? Is that what's going on here?
I'm gonna say that we, once we're out of sight, or like there's something in between at least, I'm gonna say that Rachel kind of glances at Latest like, what do you think?
Like, man, this thing's got all the bells and whistles.
Let's do it.
All right.
And I think we're gonna activate our camouflage.
Yeah, you hear.
Yeah.
Active camouflage. Engaged.
What?
Yeah, so we're sort of like two huge mechs running beside each other in the snow for a second, and then you guys look over, and then we're not there.
Yeah, and you
Although
kind of
there are
like.
still probably the like big footprints.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
assumed
we
you
feel
guys
the
did kind of like a
impact.
jump and like kind of soft float for a sec as you're invisible.
We do have wings, so
That's
helps,
true. You
but
could
yeah.
like float hop and try to not leave trails.
So here is what we're gonna do. Justin, I know your system says to use cards, but I don't have any on me and I dropped my link somewhere.
Wait, do you need cards? I have cards.
Yeah. Do you have them in arm's reach?
Yes, they
Awesome.
do apparently.
Awesome. All right.
I have 6 decks within arm's reach.
All right.
I use
Now
them for.
who's a nerd?
Look, I use them for. I stole Savage Worlds interlude system, so I tend to use them a lot.
Love Savage Worlds. It's a big inspiration for this game.
All right, what do you need?
All right.
Impressive.
We're gonna draw some cards. So will you draw one for me first, please?
We have a 5 of
All right.
hearts.
And if you can just keep those with you. All right. So that will be the Plains initiative. All right. And draw one for yourselves. Just one for your mech.
King of hearts.
Very nice. Nice
Nice.
card.
Oh.
And draw one for Midnight, if you please.
Ace of clubs.
All right. I'm gonna say aces are high here because that's
Yeah.
more fun. So you guys see these two planes kind of just kind of tuck up over the nearest ledge and come barreling towards Minerva. However, Midnight, you have just gone stealth and you see them here. What are you doing?
Thoughts? Take another shot. Pull out a beam sword.
As much as I don't want to attack these random innocents who are not kaiju,
That's actually a really good point. I assume they have. Lee's been around and playing. He knows that they have. They can eject.
Here's
Are
what
you
I'll
saying
say.
this out loud or in your brains?
And well, we're figuring things out.
Here's what I'll say.
No, as in like, can Shailee hear this?
I mean,
Maybe not this part.
Okay, because she'd have something to say. if she could.
Yeah, the other 50% of this team would
It's
be
different
screaming.
feelings. Yeah, I get
The other
that.
50% of this team is like, they shot missiles at us. They're not innocents. Hello.
Yeah.
What I will say is it'll be a lot easier for you to aim to try and like not kill a pilot if you're using a melee weapon rather than a ranged weapon.
That was kind of my line of thinking at this point as well. Do you agree, Rachel? If we shoot them with this particle blaster, we're just gonna disintegrate them.
incinerate.
I think. Yeah.
chop off a
So-
wing.
Is the plan for the giant invisible flying Jaeger to cut them out of the sky?
Yeah, just like cut a wing off, you know?
Yeah, crash landing. Everyone survives those all the time.
They probably have some way to eject.
Here is what I will say, you guys.
Yeah.
If on a hit that you take them down with you have an extra success, I will allow that. But if it's only one success, I'm just
Oh.
gonna roll to see what
Yeah.
happens.
That makes total sense.
I
What do
just
you
think
need
it's
from us
cooler
then?
if. I just feel like it's a little cooler if, like, you know, their wings fall off and then there's an invisible, the invisible Jaeger reappears doing like a samurai pose with a sword in his hand. I don't know. Maybe
Well,
that's just
let's
me.
see if we can make that happen. So you already have your active camo up. So what are you guys gonna do?
Yeah, if we want to just fly in and attack one of these guys, what do you need from us? Like another weapon swap?
Well, so each
movement?
of you, you don't have to roll to move, but each of you gets a pilot action. So if you wanted to recharge, Rachel, I can see you guys are running a little low on energy.
Yeah.
And then
So I can do that
Yeah.
while you attack.
Sure.
Yeah, Justin, you can either focus to give yourself
Sure.
an advantage, or
I will focus on it. That sounds great to me. All right. Do you want to actually? Why don't you let me go ahead and take a swing at it, and then that way you can maybe recharge even
good.
more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you
so-
can do them in any order. That's a great point. Thank you, Justin.
Great. So in that case, I'll roll 2d10 plus an advantage for focusing on this. Do you want to roll one of the d10s since we're
Sure,
attacking
I'd love
together?
to.
Go for it.
That's one success.
It's more than I got, so
We got one success.
we got
All
one
right.
success.
And the damage rating for your sword is an 11, so I am going to go ahead and roll to defend. I've got 2d6s here, so I need to roll an 11 or higher. I did not, and I rolled less than 5. I rolled 5 under it. I rolled a 4, and your damage rating is 11, which I believe means
Yeah.
you deal damage to it rather than just rattling
Yeah.
whoever is in it. And since this is a fighter jet, and you guys are a giant Jaeger, I'm gonna go ahead and say that that does it.
Yeah.
However, you only got one success on the attack, which means I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna roll a d10. I would say I'm just gonna give it even odds. If it's a 5 or under, the whole plane explodes. If it's a 6 or 10,
My thought is they don't necessarily know that we're there, but they fired things, right? They might have just been trying to destroy the super duper
that
contaminated
is a
things.
3. So
You might have accidentally sneak attacked them to death.
it's been known to happen. So we see Midnight reappear on the far side, a glowing sword of energy, just kind of like tucked back behind one hip, samurai style, as they kind of coast
Beautiful.
to a stop, and the plane flies for another couple of seconds. This glowing line appears on it, and it explodes.
We don't know our own strength with this thing.
All right, I believe that takes us to Minerva.
Well, I need to do the recharge.
Oh yes, roll for
Yes.
that, please.
Okay, so that is I get advantage on it, and then what else?
That's a great question. Let me tell you.
Drift and systems.
Drift and systems. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, team
Okay,
players.
so drift is a 10, and our systems I think is also a 10.
That sounds about right.
Systems is 12 actually.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
you guys are the smart folk.
We are.
We not smart.
That
we
is
not
Yeah,
smart.
but their skills.
3 successes.
All
Great.
right, so
Nice. And you get 2 per success, 2 energy back per success. Yeah, 2 spent energy for each hit is
So
recovered.
you regain 6 energy.
Yeah, we get quite a lot back.
Nice.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, that was really good.
High five.
I think you guys just regained as much as we have entirely.
Yeah, we just see the sword kind of suck back in, and underneath all of like the fanciest gamer tech, we just see the RGB glow underneath all of Midnight's various panels as she reappears.
Is it bright green or bright red, do you think? Because those are the gamer colors, right? It has to be
Or-
neon green or neon
I want it to be
Neon blue.
Alternates.
or blue, I guess.
Destroying
Blue.
my green
Oh, nice. Color theme.
screen. It just cycles through.
All the colors.
Pride themed Jaeger. I like it.
a rave Jaeger.
Subtle as shit.
I mean, that is very Russian.
All right.
The fact that we
Meanwhile, like,
the fact that we don't have
Rasputin-
Adidas stripes.
Rasputin is playing in the background as we do this.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
so
that reminds me.
our
I
turn?
gotta put on way more epic battle music. God, I'm falling down on the job here, you guys.
We had a catastrophic failure where you chased the rabbit for a little bit. Oh, is this Unleash the Rawk, R-A-W-K?
Summon the
God.
Rawk, but yes.
Summon the Rawk, yes.
All right.
All right, Minerva, bring it home.
Minerva is going, as I said before, we were gonna be braced in the snow with the gun. So I think for my pilot action, I will focus.
And you guys have the chain gun out?
We have the chain gun out. It's a two-hander, so we can't really do anything else.
Alrighty.
And maybe Ransom, if you want to brace, in
Yeah,
case
I'll
you have to
brace.
defend. We might
You
have...
guys can also both focus and give yourself a better advantage. Just FYI.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That is totally allowed.
That we could do that, or I was like, if you the thing is, you're really tough, so that might be helpful for us. In the defend roll.
Brace is tough.
You get to add your toughness.
Character's toughness
Yeah.
dice. Oh yeah, I am
It's
a
a little OP, I think, maybe, but I haven't tested
You're a
it yet.
tough
so.
mofo.
yeah. I am at it.
Okay, so focus, and then
Yeah, let's do brace. I'll brace.
ranged attack.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I also
Oh,
think
yeah.
since it's a ranged attack against a really small target, that you have disadvantage. So that'll cancel
Okay.
out your focus. So it's just gonna be a
Argument. Cloud of bullets doesn't need to be precise.
straight. That is a good point, in which case I would say that maybe you're not making a ranged attack and instead are doing
Right, fire.
some sort of spray fire.
Doing what?
A spray fire.
Oh,
it'll be
yeah.
it'll
different
be
thing.
it's exactly the same thing, but
Use the suppressing fire and spray fire mech actions.
Okay.
It mainly
So-
just means you would have to reload afterwards before you shot again, right, Liza?
Our weapon has the no reload feature.
it sure does. 'cause
Oh,
it's a
right.
chain
Of
gun.
course it does, because it's a chain gun. Why would you not spray fire?
Yeah.
Spray fire!
All right,
Spray
so
fire all
drift,
the time.
drift plus arsenal.
Oh no! Did
Alright.
we just lose just?
I thought you were going to say arson for a second, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay, so drift.
Plus us.
Why don't you roll arsenal? All you roll drift and focus. Since-
Yeah. So we get a D6. So
D6,
roll. Are you rolling the D6 or am I?
I'll roll a d6 and the d10.
10.
So, yeah, you roll.
That's a
12.
6 on the D12.
Okay.
That's a 2 and a 4.
All right. Do you want to push yourself to re-roll, or are you happy with one success?
What is
Extra successes give you extra damage.
We do a shitload of damage on even just a hit.
All right, well, let's wait to push because Shailee, I don't think can take too much.
That is all good. It literally
And it's been
can't.
established you guys don't care if you kill these people.
It literally can't
Yeah, we
defend
don't give a
against
shit.
your damage
so
rating.
just to be clear, what we see here is we see Bruiser Minerva just kind of like hunkering down. We see this massive we see like this kind of coming out of what do you think, the right arm? We see like a just straight up minigun, triple barrel, heavy duty rotating gun drop down, and like a piece pops out of the right arm, perpendicular, so that the left arm can grab the right arm to
hell
further brace
yeah.
it. And then we see, and so you're seeing like these cartridges, which are basically we're gonna say the size of coffins for shits and giggles. They're caseless rounds, so we don't waste up too much precious metal, and firing like 300 millimeter slugs, which is like the kind of thing you use to kill a battleship.
It is what
So
you call.
you're throwing airplane-sized bullets at this airplane.
Well, small airplane. We're throwing model airplane-sized bullets at this airplane.
To be sure. Yeah, so you just lay out in this big old cone. In fact, the one thing I will say is you didn't see them there, but Midnight, I think, is actually also in range of this spray fire. I didn't think about that until just now, but you probably would have started firing right even before they landed.
Yeah, that's true. 'Cause we have no idea.
That's
I mean, we saw
actually
the
an
plane.
excellent point.
I'm not trying to be punitive. That literally
No,
just
it's
occurred to
fine.
me.
No, I mean that's totally
No.
fair.
So actually,
That
When you
Midnight,
started
Midnight,
shooting.
I need you to roll
They
to
didn't
defend.
tell us what they were doing. This is a communication failure on our part, not.
You didn't know where we went.
we're not in drift.
Okay,
we're
what do
not
we roll
drifting
for
together.
defense?
All four of us.
All right, defense is gonna be hull plus drift. So
Is it
that's-
versus
I can
damage?
roll the
I'll
Uh-huh.
roll the d6.
and
I'll roll the d10.
Oh, God.
One success.
I actually need to know the total.
I rolled.
You add it all
Okay.
together.
So this is the one roll that you.
Oh no.
Oh no, Justin.
Yeah, this is the one roll you add together. So I got a 2. You got a. Oh no, am I lagging?
A
A
little,
little
bit.
bit.
Sorry.
Maybe you should
You're back.
push.
Rachel, what did you get?
I got a 6.
All right, 2 plus 6 is 8. Your damage rating is 13. So
It sounds like the sky is tearing with the
Here's-
size
here's
of
what
the
I will
rounds
say.
that are coming at you.
that would mean your mech would take damage if you guys don't push.
Push.
Yeah.
Or you
I-
could boost, I believe. Can you boost on a defense, Justin?
No, that's just for the turning
That's
a 4
just
into
for-
a success,
you-
right?
Let me.
It says every mech can boost
So,
by spending 3.
You know what
energy
we
at
have?
+1.
Energy?
We could push, or we have hull plating, which we could expend.
That
to
is a good point.
negate This.
You totally can.
Well,
Which I
no,
think
you don't.
Might be a
Say
good
something about-
option.
Puja was saying something about we could use energy for something.
Bruiser has hull plating, not you guys.
Oh,
So it says every mech can boost by spending 3 energy to add +1 to a dice result. But is that enough to go from a 2 to a 3?
It would just make you guys rattled at that point, because it would add to
Oh,
your.
I see what you're saying. That's an excellent point. We should 100% do that.
we have lots of energy to spare, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We'll
I
do
think
that
we
and be
just
rattled.
we just see the aerofoils kind of kick in, kind of just pushing you out of range. However, both of you are rattled.
Which makes
So
sense.
rarely would ever add +1 to defense because it so rarely matters, but that's a perfect scenario.
Do we still see you? Like,
Now
do we
you
even
see
know
them.
we rattled you?
Yes, they
Okay.
they reappear at the end of their turn.
Ooh, oh shit.
But the plane is just
They're just
scrap
sort of like-
metal.
There, yeah, it is literal chaff.
Yeah.
It is. Explain to me exactly why you thought it was a good idea to approach to melee engagement range with a flying enemy without telling anybody, while being invisible. I have no idea if that was too loud volume-wise.
No,
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
no.
Perfect.
You're, seriously. Are you okay?
Fine.
Maybe you want to explain me why you just shot us with 75 bullets.
We didn't see you. And you didn't tell us where the fuck you were.
A little bit more communication next time, since there's no proper chain of commands. Maybe don't turn invisible and run off all haywire. That being said, you can fucking fly.
And turn invisible, yes.
Fuck.
That being said, you have a huge chain gun.
Yeah, we do. How many planes left?
None. There were only
None.
2.
Okay. All right. Should we find?
They were definitely shooting, trying to destroy the base, and we just ended their day.
Yeah.
Should we get?
So in our defense, we thought they didn't necessarily know we were there, but when they shot us. the first time.
Surprise them survivors in that bitch. They don't know who we are.
Midnight.
Yeah.
You hear.
Intercepting frequency. Intercepting frequency. Play?
I'm gonna kind of do the like shh motion to the others. It's like play.
And then you hear.
I'm assuming it's gonna be in Russian.
No, you hear. Well, that was very impressive, but we're really getting a lot of heat on the satellite now. Mr. Altus would like you to come in as soon as possible. The white whale is standing, and you hear a string of coordinates. Please confirm receipt.
Do we have any way of confirming that that's actually who it is and not the Russians trying to get their Jaegers back? Did we come up with any passcodes before we did this mission?
We must have had some sort of SIGINT.
Here's what I'll say. You also hear. And also, I'd really like to know which one of you came up with that nickname because we're all going to be using it.
Can you put Comcast Dundee on the phone? Or no, I don't know if we can talk to them. That's one way to confirm they are who they are.
Can you clarify which nickname?
Uh,
You have been made.
says, Comcast Dundee.
All right, that's them.
Has to be them.
All right. Are you? Do they?
You hear a bunch of
us?
people laughing in the background of the broadcast.
Yeah, this man
was
is gonna
it
hire
just to
people
us,
to
or was it
murder
both?
me.
I thought it was just to midnight.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Midnight just has better sensors because they have a better systems die.
And
So we'll pass along a
People run
message.
okay, we'll plug it into our nav system
Yeah.
and start heading in that direction.
Absolutely.
So
Do
you
see
seem to have
that
made
though.
Ransom.
Are we
You seem to
walking?
have made about half a dozen friends there. at
Are we
least.
walking on the frozen lake or are we walking around the frozen lake? Which
I
direction are we
assume
going?
around. Just because on seems like a really bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean-
those Jaegers, they do sink straight down.
I'm just
I was
trying to
gonna
think
say-
about
Probably
weight dispersion.
watertight.
We can
Ice is
Pirates of the
wild.
Caribbean style walk on the bottom surface and straight out.
Ice is wild, and in the extreme freezing situations. Are we talking about real science or Pacific Rim science?
Well, here's what I'll
Pacific
tell
Rim
you. This
we can walk on the lake.
This you can't in Pacific Rim Science because this is a location I stole from Uprising, and they for sure crashed through the lake. So,
Oh,
Okay.
fair enough.
All right, let's just go around it. It's
I was gonna
Yeah.
say the other thing is, Midnight. You could probably for short distances pick up and carry Minerva using your wings, but only for like a little, like literally like sort of hang glider style.
Could you
Enough to
guys
get over the
airdrop
lake?
us? You guys could pick us up and drop us on people.
If you roll well enough.
There's no way that could go badly.
Shall we try cutting over the lake? From our side,
like-
we can try carrying you.
Yeah. So
We can run, jump, and then you guys can use our momentum to carry us further.
Is anyone else picturing a fastball special at some point during this series?
It's like that, but so much worse because it's a flying invisible Jaeger dropping an even bigger, angrier Jaeger out
But
of
not
the sky,
invisible.
not invisible, onto you. So you just have to stare as
Yeah.
a titan
As-
falls upon you.
Like a piano in a Looney Tunes film.
I do love the image of a Jaeger flying through the air in a position that's just like not suited for flying, just like straight up like this, just.
Oh yeah,
flying
no, we're
through.
like this, and like we're in a
Posing through the
squat.
air.
We're like 'cause we don't 3-point land. We squat land.
Yeah,
Our
that
squat
makes
land.
sense.
Either
That makes
squat
sense
land
to me.
or just elbow drop. There's no in between.
All right.
I'm just imagining though, like T-posing, like you're in Skyrim, just flying through the air.
So,
It's just what's is it the Celine Dion song at the front of the Titanic?
My heart will go
Yes.
on. Yeah.
I'm king of the world.
So,
Anyway.
Minerva, if you're gonna try and help them out by doing a big running jump, can I get a drive roll? So drive
Sure.
plus
I
drive.
I think I get advantage on those.
If you're moving a certain amount, I believe that that's the case.
Yeah, you gave advantage of driving skill actions because you're an adrenaline junkie.
Oh, yeah, that's
Because
not a
I'm-
drive. You know what? I'm gonna give it to you. I feel like this falls under the spirit of adrenaline junkie.
It really does.
It's
mean,
not
yeah.
specifically covered, but if
So
Justin
what's
had
up?
imagined this scenario, I'm sure it would have been.
So what am I rolling in total?
It's gonna be your drive plus drift. This is the max stat.
I would love to otherwise man, bring Shailee's actual physical skills in, but adrenaline.
Our drive is a D8, so it is a D8 plus a D10 plus a D6.
That's right.
You want to roll one of those? Or you want me to roll them all, Puja?
I'll roll D10.
Okay, I got the D8 and the D6. Say 4 and a
boo.
3.
And I rolled a 4.
No successes.
All right.
It's
Well,
very deep snow.
that was to aid, so that just means that they don't get any advantage.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, so I think it's the sort of thing where it did come over our radio first, maybe, and then we're like, well, like we know what because of our sensors, we like see all the blipping coming all over the place, and we're like, we need to move faster than this big heavily armored thing can move, maybe, and so maybe we just pull into like straight up, just grab you and push you.
I would say, speaking of traits you have that are applicable, I would say Ace also applies here, Justin.
Okay. So
you
just
can take
advantage
the
for that
advantage
guy.
for that.
Cool.
I can roll the drift die
You want to
again.
drive roll?
Yep. So
Yeah, go for it. If you want to do the D10, I'll do the D6 and the D8.
That's one success.
One success as well.
all right, 2 is what you needed. So Bruiser, you're just kind of power walking towards the edge of this cliff and just kind of start swan diving. I had to think about this because you can't like hold them with your arms because your arms are the wings. So I think it's that you kind of like sail past and like Bruiser just has to kind of like grab onto an ankle.
It's literally just the most awkward, which still somehow makes more sense than like 12 Chinook helicopters carrying a Jaeger. Like still less stupid.
And as you get to the far side of the lake, Bruiser, your toes start to drag
I was
across
about to
the
say,
ice.
I feel like as soon as it grabs on, there's just like a a huge dip.
Yeah, but
like right as we're about to like start going into the water, I think we hit the afterburners and we get this little bit of extra juice and a whole bunch of steam blasts out and then it instantly freezes, like kind of in a shockwave across the lake.
Absolutely. And you guys just managed to kind of grab the cliff on the far side, haul yourselves up, and start running as midnight is still sort of gliding above you. You don't really like fly long distances so much as like glide. Just because powering something that big to fly long distances would take so much fuel. So you eventually kind of touch down. And you guys are actually moving at exactly the same speed because your mechs have the same drive rating. So I'm guessing that while Midnight is a little sort of faster and more agile, Minerva just has a longer stride.
Yeah, very
Long
powerful
leggies.
legs.
Yes, you guys are...
Minerva never
I
skips
picture
leg
the
day,
weird-
obviously.
Right. Picture the weird sort of like very structured trotting run of two huge mechs
I
across
feel
the frozen
like
plain.
Bruiser Minerva runs like Captain America with that like very
Yeah.
Which is just the RoboCop run, honestly, now
So-
that I'm thinking about it.
We see, I'm gonna cut away for a second, and what we see is like a little tiny coastal fishing village in Russia where like bunch of stuff is still like, looks like it's maybe not been updated in the last 60 years. And we just see the ground shake a little bit and a couple of people like looking around, confused, and people shouting like earthquake, but in Russian. And then way in the distance, we just see 2 Jaegers jumping off a cliff and landing in the ocean, and this big wave just come rushing in at the docks.
Oh, no.
uh-oh.
Not like a
we just killed
tsunami or
more
anything.
people.
Not like a tsunami, just like a big inflood
Yeah.
of tide. And people kind of like looking around. But and then the 2 of you make your way over. You have the signal for the boat. You manage to very gingerly get your way up onto this, what is essentially an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
It is made for launching satellites into space. And is just big enough for your 2 Jaegers to kind of like lay down next to each other.
We each climb up on opposite sides.
Yeah,
and
you have
either
to
of us tips somebody
coordinate
over.
it. That's exactly what you do.
Are our feet dangling off it like it's a twin bed?
Maybe just Minerva's.
We're laying head
Are they
is what you're saying,
snuggling?
though.
No, I was picturing it like very awkward, like 2 people who are lying on a bed and trying not to touch.
Oh yeah, you got like the reverse spooning situation going on. Like our torso and their legs are in this direction.
But yeah, and you start to power down the various systems. And as you emerge from the con pod out onto the
We're
deck
all
of
at
this
this
ship,
angle.
you just see a couple of people
You let go and it's just punk.
wearing Alta Sky uniforms, like applauding and whistling as you guys climb out of the Jaegers.
If we know that there are people outside before we get out of the Jaeger, Rachel is going to stop and like check to make sure that she's presentable before she goes out.
Absolutely.
Love it. Once
Do
a
the
media
like pulls
person,
off the helmet and just does the like.
Shake the hair.
once a media
Head to
person,
hair
always a
toss.
media person.
Yep.
Whereas I think, I don't think Shailee gives a shit. She's just gonna pull her hair off, pull it cool anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ransom.
They have that
So-
afterglow that comes from beating up a lot of machines.
Ransom
think-
go ahead. Has like gear slung over one shoulder, helmet under the other, and puts the shades back on as he leaves.
Very,
The shades,
Very
the
Top
shades
Gun.
Ransom broke.
Did I break the shades?
I thought you-
Yeah,
the
they,
shades.
they
yeah.
had they had virtual
Shades I
AI
stole
shit
from
in
Lee.
They-
Yeah, and
Which
so
Lee probably sees and like, oh,
as well as
take Lee's
Rachel
pocket.
is sort of getting ready to make her big debut from out of this thing, Lee's like, "You look like a real hero," and then he sort of like reaches out his fist and he's like, "Thank you," and he holds up his fist to you.
Same to you.
And then he says, "Hey, have you seen my glasses? I could have sworn I brought them with me."
Yes, you guys walk out onto the deck of the White Whale, which is the ship, and you see a very large, sort of barrel-chested guy with salt and pepper hair, and it's kind of like grown weird. You can see he clearly has like scarring up in his hairline and through his beard, so it gives it kind of this weird, very kind of grizzled effect. And he goes, "That was some pretty nice flying you were doing there. Is that what they call it with the Jaegers, or is there another word for it? Hi, I'm Maxim." And he holds out a big old meaty paw.
if I don't know who's closest, but whenever she gets there, Shailee will shake the hand.
So will Rachel. And she's gonna point to Ransom and be like, "He's the one who came up with the nickname, by the way."
And he kind of just claps you on the back and sends you stumbling forward a pace or two and goes, "I like it. Well, we will be taking you to the boss's private island." That was his request, so we can do a little bit of repair on these things. It's for satellite launching. Don't give me that look. It's not the kind of relationship we have.
At least just thinking, I don't understand why you guys don't like him. I thought he was a nice guy. Talking about Comcast.
I'm just realizing we should have asked for more money.
And you kind of see Maxime kind of turn and give some instructions in Russian to some of his crew, who start kind of going down and securing the Jaegers, like throwing straps around them. And
Rachel's gonna lean into Ransom and be like, "Well, perhaps you can sell another autograph."
Or, hey, wasn't there some talk of a bonus if we did recover the Jaegers?
That was.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And you see a woman kind of bustles up and she goes, "Well, hi there. I'm Cherry. I'm Mr. Altus's assistant. Well, one of his assistants. And we prepared some staterooms for you if you want to just follow me."
You should probably decontaminate. I assume that's a thing.
We can certainly arrange for that. No worries.
Not wrong. Also, I don't have a change of clothes with me. Is there any chance that you guys have something that I could,
Absolutely.
someone destroy?
She kind of makes a little note on a tablet that she's carrying, and then a storm kind of starts blowing up like a rainstorm, so you guys all head down below decks. So you guys are just gonna kind of be on this boat for a couple of days. It's gonna take a while. You're kind of sailing kind of more They're just some islands sort of off in the middle of the Pacific, vaguely near Hawaii. So yeah, is there anything that you guys want to do during this boat journey?
Relax and lower our stress limits, I'm thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to do that, you can totally tell me what it is you're doing to relax.
Ransom, when not relaxing, is going to be frantically Googling or whatever. You know, it's some weird fucked up universe. I'm probably using Bing.
Google.
Where's the darkest timeline?
The darkest timeline.
And is trying to find out about what standard salvage cuts are for salvage rights. And then also trying to find out how much a Jaeger's worth.
Sure. Go ahead and make me a computers check.
Oh, I was being sassy, but this is going to be painful.
Wits plus specialist.
Wits plus specialist. Those are definitely my highest skills. Actually, they're both D8s, shockingly. Not actually my worst skills. That's a 6 and a 5.
All right. Yeah, the access here is really good. You're like, some of these pages I don't think I should be able to get into, but the terminals, actually the thing that you find is there's like a tablet here that I think maybe you even managed to steal it from Jerry, just like yoink. And it's really easy to use. Like,
it's got big buttons.
no, not even that, but like normally you kind of struggle with this stuff, but this is like really easy.
Suspiciously easy?
I mean,
or just well designed?
Ransom is suspicious of everything, so I feel like that's not a very fair question.
That's fair. That's what Ransom's doing, to relax.
Ransom may well be suspicious of it. Rachel, will you make me an awareness check for him real quick?
Sure.
Shailee, you can do this as
wits.
well. Wits
What
plus
is that?
leader.
I think those are both 10s. Am I
I'll
remembering
double
that right?
check for you.
Thank you.
12 for me.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And I don't think I get advantage on awareness,
No.
so
I rolled an 11 and a 1.
Okay.
one success.
All right. So Rachel, I think you at one point kind of observe Ransom tapping away at some tablet, and you're mildly surprised to notice that he's not kind of like throwing it at the walls. And Shailee, you definitely also noticed this. Just because Rachel, you have a good grasp of computer technology and have helped Ransom with it before, and Shailee, you're Ransom's drift partner. Lee, I'm not excluding you on purpose. But yeah, both of you definitely noticed this change. And Rachel, the tech looks, fairly similar to other stuff you guys have been using.
I'm gonna go. I assume like if we can see him, we're probably all like hanging out in the same room.
Yeah, there's like
chilling.
a mess that you guys can hang out in, or like Mr. Alts's stateroom has like a forward part, like the bedroom part is locked, but there's like a sitting room that is open to you guys.
He's not on the ship, right?
No, he's not.
If there is the option to put his feet on the table.
Oh, that's not what I was going to suggest. I was going to suggest we break in and see what he's got hidden in there.
Also would totally do that. But what I'm saying is like would be hanging out in the stateroom, if nothing else, just if no other reason, just to irritate him, to tease him.
I think Rachel, you would just know this from your skills and your proficiency with culture is you don't get the sense that this is something he stays in. Most of the time, this is actually probably where Maxime stays.
That's fair,
This is probably not a facility that he visits very often.
I suppose. I just want to find his Jaeger fan fiction, that's all. In that case, I'm gonna kind of like lean over to Lee and say, can I see some of those files that you found about the Delta protocol?
Well, what I was gonna say is that Lee, I think, well, he has maybe a few things he wants to do, but he's definitely, when he gets the moment, also interested in looking at that. So I think when you say that, when you find him in a quiet moment, he sort of like spins the computer around to you, and he's like, "You want to deep dive with me? There's a lot of shit
Absolutely.
here."
All right. So the two of you are going to do that,
Science
and
party.
then Shailee, what are you going to do?
Well, Shailee was going to use her downtime to, amongst other things, she wants to kind of keep track of what her brothers have been doing in terms of like it's been a couple of days, like have there been any kaiju sightings, like just, your regular check-in on family. And then I think if Ransom fills her in on his plans, she'll probably just go along for shits and giggles.
Absolutely. So yeah, every day you kind of go and check in with the communications officer and kind of get the news. And also, like, there's Wi-Fi. You can also just like check the news.
Yeah, that's probably what she's doing.
Things
She's
seem
just, like,
pretty uneventful. There are regular updates from. There was for the first couple of days, and actually, right as you guys are about to arrive, it wraps up a big PPDC conference in Honolulu, which you remember Dr. Park said she was going to.
Yeah.
Right after she met with you. And you got the sense that Altus might also have been there. You see him in some photos, like he's a big donor.
Probably because she wanted the information that we had so she could use it at the conference, didn't she?
Yes, and you guys are able to brief her with sort of what you found and upload it. We don't need to RP all of that. It's going to be very much, here's what we did and here's what we found. You don't really hear from her. You are able to brief her, and she is going to come fully debrief you at this facility of Altus's when she can get a look at the Jaegers and analyze it for herself. She's looking at your reports and everything, but this is sort of like on hold at the moment. Although you do see the initial deposit of the $100,000 hit all of your accounts.
Nice.
The bonuses are to be determined once they get a look at the Jaegers.
Excellent.
All right. And Ransom, you find whatever information you were looking for about pricing and stuff like that. Actually, in the system, you're able to find some rather detailed stuff about the price of various Jaegers. Something that you're not necessarily sure how you found it. It doesn't appear to be on the internet. You found it somewhere in the files on this network. You don't really know, but you did find it.
He wants to buy a Jaeger.
No, he 100% wants to buy a Jaeger he can pilot by himself because he can't drift. Oh, what a fanboy.
I mean, the boat's called the White Whale.
Yeah, that's been killing me this whole time.
Well,
Yeah,
I do what
so-
I can.
It's such an ominous thing to name your boat.
Right?
Pretty funny.
It's such an it's like
Maybe it means something different in Australia.
A what whale?
At a certain point, looking at this research with Rachel, I think Lee just sort of pushes his computer away at a certain point. And he's like, you know what? Long trips to me have always been an excuse to do absolutely nothing and not feel a lick of guilt about it because you're confined. You just got to sit there and wait anyway. You might as well just kick back and relax. It's like, I think I'm going to go up top deck.
This is what I do to relax, so...
Fair enough. I think I might go introduce myself to that. What was her name? Cherry?
Cherry.
Something incredibly stereotypical, yes. She just kind of like leans over to him, like gossipy style, and is like, I can't believe this man actually has a peppy assistant named Cherry or Sherry, whatever it was. Like,
I mean,
of course he does.
Hey. If you could, you wouldn't.
Are you guys
Good luck.
pouring over your well, this is a multi-day thing. You all have plenty of
Yeah.
time to relax. You guys can go ahead and clear your stress You're in a non-stressful situation. You're able to just kind of hang and chill. So you can clear
Do
that.
some sunbathing.
Yeah.
I feel like there's 100% there's 100% a shot of Ransom sunbathing. He's found a lawn chair, or like a sun chair. What is that? Lawn chair?
Yeah.
The ones that
A
are
deck
long.
chair.
A deck chair. He's found a deck chair and has set it up on top of that side of the head, the recumbent head of the Jaeger, and is sitting there drinking like a virgin cocktail.
Yes.
That is great.
And just
I think if you zoom
wearing
out,
Lee's stolen
I was
sunglasses.
just about to say, and then Lee walks by and he's like, "Hey."
if you zoom out, like right, not that far away from the Jaeger, you probably see like Shailee going into like going from like crow to like a handstand, like doing some serious acrobatic yoga shit. That's Ransom naps.
Yes, so good. Yeah, give me your guys' relaxation vignette, and then we just have 2 more quick scenes to do. Rachel, Lee.
I think Rachel also just kind of sits on deck and enjoys the ocean sounds and the like not being in the freezing cold for a bit. Once we get further south anyway.
Yeah, after about the second day, it starts really warming up. This thing goes pretty consistently, and it sails, 24 hours a day. So
Yeah, and she's probably like, I think at some point she probably like pulls out a phone or a tablet or something and is just watching like absolutely garbage TV. Like completely like the worst, like, yeah, she's just watching it and like making fun of it occasionally, and like, occasionally she'll switch to like, I don't know, say yes to the dress and be like, why would you bring these family members who you know are going to be rude to you? Or like, this person has terrible taste. Absolutely. Like, why would you wear this ever?
Lee would join you for that if you wanted company at times. I'm sure sometimes you would just want to be able to do that, but he would also.
He
watch
also
trash TV
probably
with
at
you
some
from
point
time
tries to
time.
start a card game just for fun.
oh yeah.
She's like pretty sure that Ransom at least is very good at cards, and she's kind of curious to see if he cheats. So she's just gonna start a card game at some point among the 4 of them if she can.
Nice.
Does he?
Ransom 100% cheats.
Um,
If possible. He's
But
like, if he
so
does
does
get caught, he'll
Shailee.
just. But
Well,
No,
I
I
Shailee's
feel
the
like we're all
youngest of
cheating.
3 siblings and twin older brothers. She knows how to cheat to win.
will all of you roll your drift
we all know.
dice
We all
for me,
know
please?
Lee cheats.
Our drift dice?
Yes.
No, Lee does not cheat. And in fact, Lee would get
Lee
frustrated
is a
and leave the
person.
game at a certain point because he'd be like, I can't play with y'all. Y'all are a bunch of cheaters.
Rachel doesn't start off cheating, but as soon as she sees that the other people are, then she'll start.
We're rolling.
Also
drift
a
dice?
3. Hey,
There you go.
do we get extra points if we roll the same number as our drift partner? I feel like that should count for
Stun.
something.
Ransom, you're not even necessarily trying to whoop Shailee as bad as you do, but it's like you can see the cards that are in her hand.
Oh.
Oh.
Amazing. I think at some point, definitely calls out the cheating in a subtle way that doesn't directly alert Lee or Rachel, and just.
Oh no,
being like,
Rachel's cheating too.
Oh no! But I'm saying specifically, lets Shailee know that Ransom knows that how she's cheating, and just to kind of like, I think it's just kind of a game recognizes game type
I
deal.
feel like this probably happened before Lee realized everyone was cheating and got frustrated and walked away, because I think Shaylee's response to this is because Ransom's cheating. Ransom knows how she's cheating and is beating her. Her cheating is just going to get more and more outrageously like risky.
Yeah. That sounds right to me.
Yeah, basically they're just egging each other on to cheat worse. Also,
Rachel
we
is
said this
just
earlier.
enjoying
They're
having
not good at
instigated the
stealth.
chaos.
So, yeah, you guys have some relaxation. You play some cards. But Rachel and Lee, you are looking over this data. And I'd like Rachel for you to make a computers check, and your result is going to lead to give advantages to Lee's science check because you're finding this data, but I think his expertise is necessary to perhaps
so that's
interpret.
A 12 and a 10, right? Plus the 8 for advantage?
Yes, because you have 2 advantages on computer. 2 advantage on computer.
3 successes.
Okay.
2 8s and a 5.
All right, so Justin, you get a D10 advantage on this science check.
And all right.
I got you, bro.
Oh man. Well, about that, I got
We did just
0
clear all of our
successes.
You got.
You could push.
Yeah.
Sure.
We
Do
did just.
it.
Wait, I have a question for the GM. Does this happen before or after we clear our stress?
For dramatic purpose, after.
Yeah. That seems right to me.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Okay, I got a buttload of successes now, 4.
All right.
But I saw something that's freaking me out, man.
That's correct. Because what you find is you guys are looking over this data that you pulled from the facility, and you find a couple of different things. Rachel, you find some files, like you're sort of cross-referencing and searching using some of the machines in here, and it pulls up some files that aren't from the drive that you recovered. They're from just the network that the ship is connected to. But your search pulled them up because there are some similar aspects to them. And what they are is designs for a phone. But you're comparing them and kind of looking at it, and you're like, something here is similar. And you're showing it to Lee, and he's kind of looking, and you see that the circuit, one of the circuits inside of the phone, one of the pieces of tech, is almost identical to a piece of tech that is outlined under the files that you guys were looking at for the Delta protocol.
Whoa.
And Lee, with those 4 successes, you're able over the course of those days to kind of unravel this program, and it's, you're reminded of some of the stuff that Dr. Park had been talking to you about with like her modeling program of like different kind of links, like brainwave links, and connecting people on a subconscious level. And it seems like this program was using that probably to increase drift compatibility. But based on your findings and kind of reviewing some of this evidence, it seems like there were some pretty gnarly side effects. Namely, it lasted a pretty long time. And there are even some theories in this that you could essentially use it to influence people subconsciously.
So mind control.
I mean,
Is it
possibly.
just between partners or from outside the partners?
They were testing that. They hadn't quite gotten, like, they weren't trying to do that. But it seems like they're this could be possible.
But the phone suggests a wider.
And the other thing
net.
that you're able, when you find this, you're able to kind of do a little bit more research, and you kind of hunt down some numbers and some shell corporations, and you realize that some of the funding for that facility in Russia came from Altus Sky.
Yep.
Of course it did.
That's fucking right, Comcast Dundee. We got your fucking bullshit ass.
I feel like I should have seen that coming from a million miles away, but did not at all.
I had picked up on something being off with the glasses being similar to drift tech, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Shailee, You are headed up to the comms room for your daily sort of like check-in, radio check-in that you've been doing, just because that you can like hail in on PPDC frequencies and find out better news than like scrolling news on Wi-Fi. And you're headed up there. Make me an awareness check.
Awareness. What is that one?
Wits
List.
plus leader. Sorry.
Aha.
I will
thank
also
you.
accept wits plus renegade if that is better for you.
Wits and leader it is. I got a 12 in leader.
Cool.
Lead you into sheer chaos. All right. A 6 and an 8.
All right, 2 successes. That's perfect.
Sorry, a 9 and an 8.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, still 2 successes. That's perfect. Excuse me. You're kind of about to step in, and you can hear kind of the door to the bridge is ajar, and you overhear Maxime saying, yes, sir. Yes, the satellite launch. Yes, as soon as we have the Jaeger. Yes, we'll secure the part. And then, yes, it can proceed as planned. Absolutely. And then you're sort of stepping into the comms booth, and you see the comms officer just sitting, listening to something with wide eyes, and you see a big radar screen in front of them that just has this blip on it. It just keeps getting bigger.
Okay.
It's not moving.
Do I recognize it?
It's just getting bigger. And then all of you hear something. You hear sirens begin to go off. And you hear an automated announcement go out that just says,
Kaiju rising.
and I think that's where we're gonna go ahead and cut for this evening.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Ah. Oh,
That was really
yes.
great.
Woo!
You got
We did the
giant
thing.
robots!
The kaiju gremlins tried to get us down.
But they can't stop us. I think, provided that you guys all agree that you all deserve to up your drift rating, everyone seemed to work together really well.
Well,
go ahead and-
at least between our drift partners.
Yes.
True.
Sorry for the shooting. That was beautiful, Liza. That was just, I think none of
Yeah.
us really realized it, and then I was like, yes,
You
a
have
cloud
to.
of bullets, and then
Yeah. Sometimes you're like, wait a second, hold
But
on.
it's true. If your rogue is invisible and
Yeah.
sneaks off without telling you, they gonna get hit by the by the fireball.
It's true. Yeah. But fortunately, they
It works
had
it's true at
evasion.
any scale.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for being here with us. Thanks for sticking with us through some technical
Thank you.
difficulties. We will be back with the finale with a kaiju next week. We'll find out what's going on with Comcast Dundee. Yeah, any quick plugs that you want to give, my dear players?
Sure. Catch me this Thursday on Wandering DM's channel, where we will be playing Sentinels of the Multiverse RPG, which I think is based on the comic book or the video game. There's a lot of Sentinel stuff out there, but we
There
are
is a
creating
lot
our
of Sentinels.
own comic book style issues. They're really fun. There's a trading card game that you get to play live as part of the stream. It is on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Wandering DM's channel.
Awesome.
So I will be there and then back here on
That does
next
sound
Thursday.
awesome. Yeah, check out Solarpunk Studios if you want to check out Beamswords and Bazookas, and also Kunai Academy, another game I put out that's pretty fun.
Yes,
and
it's so good.
More stuff in the future.
All right. Yes.
yeah, I'd like to throw a quick shout out to Jeff Stormer, who has an amazing podcast called Party of One, which you should totally check out, as well as his podcast with Eric Katana Saez, All My Fantasy Children, which are both amazing, and you should check those out. And a big quick shout out to our friends over at Encounter Party, which is a really amazing actual play RPG that uses D&D. They finished their amazing third season, and they're getting ready to launch into their new world coming up. And in the meantime, they're playing Icewind Dale over on their channel. So go over there, tell them we said hi. They're chill people.
And go check out our friends at 20-Sided TV and the 20-Sided Store. And,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And buy Justin's game if you're in Brooklyn.
I probably would have never made the game had I never gone to 20th Store
go.
back in the day. So yeah, for sure.
All right, and don't tune into this channel tomorrow night because we're taking the night off. And since it's the last time we can say it on this stream, happy Pride, everybody!
Happy Pride.
Yes.
Yay! All right,
Be
we will.
gay, do crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody.